Gilmore Point and Gilmore. There's
All right. Good morning, everyone. And it is a fine morning. It is October 21st, a lovely day, even more lovely because the Jays won last night and they're going to the World Series. So we're super happy about that. I'd like to welcome all the folks that are joining us here live and in person in the gallery, as well as those folks that are live and online. And just a reminder to everybody that we do record our meetings and we upload them to our YouTube channel. So any comments or any opinions that are expressed during this meeting are going to be recorded. So just bear that in mind. Because they will be available for members of the public to hear. And before we get into the business, council would like to acknowledge that we meet on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, in particular, our neighbors from Kawarth, Anishinaabe, and Curve Lake First Nations. We recognize and honor the original people of this place we call North Kawartha. As duly elected representatives, we follow this Indigenous practice of acknowledgement to foster respectful deliberations, thoughtful collaboration, and wise decision-making in our service to this community. Okay, and with that, anybody have a pecuniary interest with any of the matters before us today? See any, so we're gonna move on. Adoption of the agenda. I don't think we have anything to add on this. It's all good. Okay, can I have a mover to adopt the agenda, please? Moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? Our agenda has been adopted, and without further ado, we're going to go into a statutory public hearing for the purpose of hearing several different applications. We've got a couple of Shoreline Road Allowance applications, as well as a Municipal Road Allowance application and a zone amendment. So up first are the Shoreline Road Allowances, and we have Bree, our fantastic planning assistant, here this morning to take us through these. So please go ahead.
Morning, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm going to start off with the application to purchase Shoreline Road Allowance by Bertley. Following the input received in the public hearing, Council consider passing the appropriate bylaw to stop up, to close, and sell to the abutting landowners or their respective nominees those lands and premises as most particularly described in Schedule A. The Township of North Kawartha currently has policies to offer the Shoreline Road Allowance. The applicant on Schedule A has applied according to the above policies, guidelines, and application process. All posting and notice requirements have been met. To the time of this report, the clerk and I have not received any written submissions regarding this application.
Okay. All right, so thank you for that. And I'm going to ask if there's anyone that wants to speak on this application, either in support of or in opposition to. It's your opportunity to do so. I don't see any, and you haven't received any written comments as according to the report, right? Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over then to members of council for questions, comments, or motion. Moved by Ruth Ann. Go ahead, Ruth Ann. Sorry. I was going to say, you moved it already.
I'm good with the recommended motion.
Perfect. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Jim Whalen. All those in favor? That is approved. Okay, on to the next one, Bree.
The next one is application to purchase Shoreline Road Allowance. That following the input received in the public hearing, council consider passing the appropriate bylaw to stop up, to close, and sell to the abutting landowners or their respective nominees those lands and premises more particularly described in Schedule A. The Township of North Kawartha currently has policies to offer the Shoreline Road Allowance. The applicant on Schedule A is applied according to the above policies, guidelines, and application process, and all posting and notice requirements have been met. To the time of this report, the clerk and I have not received any written submissions in regards to this application.
Okay, once again, I'm going to ask if there's anybody here that would like to speak on this application. This is your opportunity to do so. I don't see anybody here in the gallery, nobody online that wants to speak on this, so I'm going to turn it over again to council. What say you?
Jim Whalen, move the recommendation, Madam Chair.
Okay, and seconded by Colin. All those in favor? That is approved. Okay, and the next one, please, Bree.
Okay, so the last one is the application to purchase the unopened Municipal Road Allowance. This is by Copping and Rankin. That the following input received in the public hearing, council consider passing the appropriate bylaw to stop up, to close, and to sell to the abutting and landowners or their respective nominees for those lands and premises more particularly described in Schedule A. The applicant on Schedule A has applied according to the above policies and guidelines and the application process to purchase 33 feet of the road allowance that is adjacent to their property at Concession 16, Part Lot 19, in the Burley Ward, municipally known as 645 Jack Lake Road. roll number 15360200002363301. Part of Part 2 and all of Part 3 of the road allowance is situated between geographic townships of Burley and Chandos, Township of North Kawartha and geographic Township of Methuen, Township of Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, and constitutes a boundary road as defined by Section 29 of the Municipal Act 2001. Consent is therefore required from the Township of Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, which will be approved on October 21st, 2025. The neighboring property owner at 581 Jack Lake Road has expressed their interest in purchasing the other 33 feet of the unopened municipal road allowance, but has not yet submitted an application to purchase. All posting and notice requirements have been met, and at the time of this report, the clerk and I have not received any written submissions in regards to this application.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. And I appreciate the timing for Havelock Belmont because they're meeting today as well.
Yes.
So it's imminent, I take it. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna ask if there's anybody here that would like to speak on this application. And this is your opportunity to do so if you desire. I don't see any indication online or in the gallery that anybody has any comments to make on it. So back over to council members. What would you like to do? Jim?
Yeah, this, obviously, he's buying 33 feet, so even though the other applicant hasn't, put in an application yet, we still sell 33 feet. And might leave it for them to put it in when they want to, but,
That's
okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Looking at the satellite, it doesn't look like the property is actually used for anything like the municipal road allowance.
Yeah.
So there's no trails or ATV sort of paths crossing it.
No.
Okay. All right, so. Any other questions or comments? There is a recommendation. Go ahead.
I'll move the recommended motion.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Colin. All those in favor? That is approved. All right, 3 for 3, Bree. Way to go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And now we have,
Can I just interrupt?
oh, sure, go ahead.
If somebody wanted to see the survey, could they come down to your office and take a look at it?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. We know where a couple of folks are going. That's great. Okay, and you know. Hi, or welcome back our planner, Laura. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to. No, I know, I was thinking about that, but anyway, thank you to the clerks reminding me to say my words properly. We are still in public hearing, and the purpose now is to hear for a zone amendment application. And I just want to remind folks of the rules around this is an opportunity for folks to ask for relief from our rules and regulations with respect to planning. And it's also an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments on those requests for relief. And while we encourage everybody to submit their comments, there have been recent changes to the Planning Act, which have eliminated the right of appeal except for the applicant, council, specified agencies, specified persons, that kind of thing. And for those folks, there is a 20-day appeal period, which starts the day the decision is posted. So with that, I think I got everything. Turning it over to Laura, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and Council. This application is zoning bylaw amendment application ZA-13-25. The recommendation is that council approve zoning bylaw amendment application ZA-13-25 to permit a redevelopment of a waterfront property in the form of a tear down and rebuild of a dwelling as it meets the intent of the 2024 provincial planning statement and the County of Peterborough's official plan. The property information is as follows. The address is 119 Bayview Lane. The owners are the Birds. The agent is Black Point Construction with Holly Richards Conley acting as the agent. The zoning is Shoreline residential. The official plan designation is seasonal residential. This property is located in the Chandos ward. It's on a peninsula and it has frontage onto Chandos Lake on 3 sides of the property. The surrounding properties are also used for recreational purposes. This application comes to council primarily to facilitate an exception to the zoning to permit a redevelopment on this large peninsula property. The property has an existing recreational dwelling located at 20.9 meters from the high water mark and 17.5 meters from the deck to the high water mark. And the proposal for redevelopment does not exceed those numbers. So as you can see with the map that was included in the report, the property is relatively narrow. There's not much room to meet a 30-meter setback on all sides of the lot. The footprint of the existing dwelling will be expanded upon to reduce any interference with trees, natural area leading onto the property. Crow Valley Conservation Authority was worked with by the agent, and the floodplain elevation was prescribed, put onto the site plan, and will not be infringed upon. So Crow Valley Conservation does not have any concerns with this application. As discussed, this application does meet the intent of the provincial planning statement. It also meets the intent of the Peterborough County official plan, both the existing and the proposed, that is due to come into force and effect, hopefully before the end of the year. The intention of this is to provide relief to the following sections. Section 2.6, which is to give relief to our definition of attached for the breezeway connection to the garage. Section 3.1I, which permits an eave to extend into the water yard. You're allowed a standard 2-foot overhang for your regular eaves. They're asking for a little bit more. To amend section 3.18B4 to permit a dwelling wider than 27.6 meters to a maximum of 37.96 meters, which only takes up 16.5% of the shoreline. So it does fall under a maximum allowable for the percentage. To amend section 3.30D, which is an increase in the depth of an open deck to 5.99 meters. To amend section 6.2K, which allows the redevelopment of a recreation dwelling house with an attached deck located 20.9 meters and 19.3 meters to the high water mark respectively. And to amend section 6.2M, which allows the height to be a maximum height of 8.8 meters, and that is due to a walkout basement. In conclusion, the application to rezone the subject lot is consistent with the provincial planning statement and the County of Peterborough's official plan, and it should be approved. We have heard, as I mentioned, Crow Valley Conservation Authority doesn't have any concerns. I did have a neighbor call with a question of clarification about removal of trees and whether or not essentially the whole property would be deforested, and the answer was no. The premise of the location of the cottage is to eliminate the removal of trees as much as possible. And we had another neighbor call, Helen Dawson, with questions of clarification, but I didn't have any follow-up from her. So if council has any questions, I am here to answer.
All right, thank you so much. Well, before we get to that, I see Holly's already popped up on the screen. She knows the drill. Good morning, Holly. Welcome. You're here as the applicant's representative, and please go ahead if you want to add more to what Laura's presented.
Good morning. Through you, Madam Mayor. I've got nothing else to add. I am just here to answer any questions that council or anybody else may have.
Perfect. All right, thank you for that. Okay, so Laura did identify the comments and that she had received, outside of today's hearing. So now is the opportunity for any member of the public that wants to make comment on this application to do so. And you can looking online, you can put up your hand, turn on your video if you want to indicate that you want to speak on this application. And if there's anybody here in the gallery that wants to speak on this, like I said, this is your opportunity to do so. I'm not seeing that anybody has a burning desire to speak on this, so I'm going to turn it over to members of council for questions, comments, or perhaps you're ready for a motion, but we'll start it off with who? Anybody?
I'll just make a comment that, this is a very, very challenging, place to build, but beautiful. The whole thing looks beautiful. I don't have any problem with any of it.
Okay. Colin?
I know this lot quite well, and I'm shocked that this is just amazing design work to be able to fit it in with the property. There's that tiny little corner that, the deck that sort of comes within the 30 feet. But there's a net reduction for certain within the 30 feet of deck space, based on this being pulled down. So I really don't have any concerns, and I'm just impressed with what they were able to design for this property.
And clearly too, that, you know, when we talk about the 100 feet, that septic is within, or like, like outside of, you know, where we want it to be, not within, but without of the 100 feet, which is key. But yeah, it's like trying to fit these crazy little jigsaw puzzle pieces into an area, and yeah, it works well. So, Ruthann,
I would just be ready to move the
Go ahead.
recommended motion.
all right.
Okay, I'll move the recommended motion.
Wonderful. Seconder, Colin will second it. All those in favor? That zone amendment is approved. All right, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Holly.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Laura, and I'm going to declare we're out of statutory public hearing now, okay? And we're gonna, with council's permission, just gonna vary the agenda a little bit. We do have some consent, pardon me, consent applications. I was looking at the consent agenda. Anyway, there's a couple of consent applications that are here, so we're gonna go to those ones first, because Laura's here and she can speak to them, so carry on, Laura.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Let's keep this good time rolling. So this application is for consent B 6625. It's an application to create a lot. The recommendation is that council recommends that the County of Peterborough approve consent application B 66-25 to create one new lot with the conditions outlined in the municipal appraisal form, which are also noted in the report. The background is as follows. The property address is 247 County Road 620. The owner is Joseph McDonald. The total lot area is 7 hectares. The proposed severed lot is 0.4 hectares or 1 acre, and the proposed retained lot is 6.6 hectares. The current zoning is rural and the official plan designation is hamlet. This falls just within the hamlet boundaries of Apsley. So the property is located about 1 kilometer north of Apsley on the eastern side of County Road 620. There's an existing house with garage, septic and well, and the application conditions are as follows. So given that both the retained and severed lots are undersized for the rural zone, being a minimum lot size of 10 acres, it's recommended that both parcels be rezoned to rural residential and general residential respectively. It is also recommended that cash in lieu of parkland be paid to the Township of North Kawartha for the severed lot, which is a standard condition, and that both the severed and retained parcels have approvals or reviews of septic to make sure that we are all up to date. The County of Peterborough Land Division is the authority which will determine the final approvals for this application, but the township has an opportunity to recommend the approval or recommend denial if you should so wish. But I am here to answer any questions, and that's it.
Perfect. All right, thank you for that. Any questions or comments from council on this? Like Laura said, it's just that we make a recommendation to Land Division of the county, which the deputy mayor does sit on, and they are the final decision-making authority on this, but seems pretty straightforward. I don't know. What do you think? There's a recommendation there if anybody wants to make that. Jim?
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, recommend approval based on the conditions as outlined. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Ruthann. All those in favor? That consent application is approved. And the next one, please, Laura.
Thank you very much. So this one is for application B 70-25, and it's an application for lot addition. This one takes place on 113 Butler Drive. The property owners are Brian Norman and Lynn Hill. The total lot area is 1.35 hectares. The proposed severed lot that would be added to a receiving property is 0.4 hectares. The proposed retain is 0.95 hectares. The benefiting lot, following the addition will be 0.5 hectares, which is our standard size for shoreline, property. The current zoning is shoreline residential and rural. The official plan designation is hamlet and shoreline residential. So this one is a little bit wacky. There are a couple zones on the property being rural and shoreline. So the recommendation for this, as you can see, I think page 3 of the report shows the zoning map. So it is recommended that the conditions are as follows: that the severed and retained parcels be rezoned to shoreline residential to clean up the mismatched zoning, and that a septic review is completed for both lots. Once again, it is the authority of the County of Peterborough Land Division staff to review the application. However, there is an opportunity for your township to recommend approval or recommend denial. But in this case, it's representative of good planning, and I do recommend approval.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. All right, so back to council. Do you have any questions or comments on that? Anyone? Then I'm looking for someone to make a motion, please. Colin.
I'll move that council recommend approval of consent application B 7025 with the 2 recommended conditions.
Okay, perfect. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Jim Whalen. All those in favor? That consent application is approved.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, council.
All right, thank you, Laura. And, well, you know what? Jason's here. And up next on the agenda where I am right now is the winter patroller report. So why don't you come on up, Jason? We'll get you taken care of and you can get back to work.
Thank you.
Oh, look at my wife was hiding right behind us.
Right.
See ya. All right.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council. Thank you for your time this morning. In front of you, I'm here asking approval for staff to hire a 40 an hour week contract position for the winter, beginning in November and ending April 30th. Recently, Terry Post, our winter patroller, who's been with us for a long time. Many of you may remember Terry was a full-time employee with North Court, but prior to coming back as our patroller. Terry did an excellent job for us, so we're a little disappointed to see Terry leave us, but
Really gonna retire this time.
he's really retiring this time. And we could completely understand, but we're gonna miss him.
Yeah.
But when he announced that retirement to us, it gave us the opportunity to rethink the position a little bit. So we're here today asking for the 40 hours versus the 16. It gives us some versatility in our operations, a little bit of contingency planning throughout the winter. And it would cover off for hours of service. Last winter was a hard winter for us. We did have some challenges with our hours of service and keeping them in line. Anybody that's read the regulation knows that, we do have some exemptions as a municipality, but the way that reads, or the understanding is that we have to reset those hours as soon as possible after a winter event. And that has been challenging for us, to say the least. Last winter was really difficult. Also, it gives us some coverage for leaves of absence or sick time. And it would be a flex position. So essentially they'd be covering the weekends, but also some time throughout the week to assist that.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you can see in the financial details, there is going to be a bit of a financial impact. The variance from the former position to the position we're creating, or that we're wishing to create, is the $19,625.21.
Jim's already got a question for you.
Yeah, I have no problem with the hiring, that's for sure. You certainly need it, but is he an operator as well as would he be an operator, a snowplow operator as well as a patroller?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I think that's the other thing I should mention too, is that it's the work-life balance for our staff. Like right now, although they don't work every single weekend, it doesn't snow every weekend, but when it does snow, they're expected to be available to work, which doesn't allow them to plan anything with family. This way we could, create a rotational schedule they could have some weekends off. They would know what those weekends look like, and then they could pre-plan for events for family and whatever they would like to do on those
It's only
weekends.
fair, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, you guys have been working pretty lean for a long time, and I think last year was a wake-up call for a lot of us. You know, that certainly, you know, public works departments or anything like that, like, I mean, there was like, it was nonstop. I think what you highlighted about the work-life balance and having that coverage, so we ensure, because it also provides protection not only for our staff, but for everybody else too. You don't have somebody out there that's super exhausted and tired because they've been working, you know, how many hours straight, you know, through a crazy ice storm, right? You know, I think it makes a lot of sense. And you're talking about something, this would be like a permanent type of a thing, like, so every year going forward, we're not talking a one-off with, we want to do this, make this change and make it permanent, right?
Yeah, I think this year we would call it a trial, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And if it's successful and it fits our needs, then I think that we would, you know, make it a permanent contract position.
Excellent, okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Colin.
Are you expecting there to be any difficulty with it being a seasonal role? I know it's harder to find applicants for roles that aren't year round.
I think could be a challenge for us. I think like the first step is for us is to get the approval from council and then seek that out. And I mean, if we can't find somebody that fits the bill, then we would have to come back
Sure.
with another recommendation to council of changing the structure again. But I think for me, this is the first step
Yeah.
going forward, and
You won't know until you ask, right?
that's right.
Good luck.
All right. Do you
I
want to
make
make
the
you?
recommendation.
Okay, Jim Whalen moves that. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Ruth Ann. All those in favor? That is approved.
Can I ask the question?
Yes, you may.
How are we making out with the truck?
As far as I know, it's in right now at the fabricator, and he's working on the frame. Early indications where he would have the frame repair done by middle of November.
Oh,
And then the safety requirements would be after that, but the garage that's doing the work, they already know what the rest of the repair is, so they won't be long getting it done. So
great.
we're hoping by the third week in November, we have that truck operational, and we'll rely on our spare until then.
So you'll be all set.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, thanks,
All
Jamie.
right, thank you.
Okay, do we want to carry on with the reports or should we go back? I think the next one up is the virtual welcome stuff, and that says it's Keely Ann who did that. Does she want to come and speak to it? So, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
If council members have questions or want further explanation, she's
Okay.
prepared to come in and address her report.
Okay, well, we'll just kind of carry on with this then, so, because it's up on my screen now.
That might be her comment.
Oh, look at you. Step right up. You're the next contestant on. Yeah, we're right at your report here about the transition to virtual welcome packages, so go
Good
ahead.
morning, Madam Mayor, members of council. The staff report in front of you is just to outline our request to transition from a paper welcome package to an electronic welcome package. Sorry, I ran.
It's okay. You could have done it virtually, you know.
Hear everybody at the counter at the same time. There's a cost saving in that staff report as well. So right now, the status quo is that when that G changes over, finance department sends a welcome package with their taxation related information, as well as any important forms. And then the clerk's department sends a welcome package with information from bylaw, septic, how well is your well from public health. It also gives a little document in regards to municipal departments and the services as well. So this will be a good addition in regards to a way of cost savings in the postage. It has gone up significantly, as well as the unreliability of the Canada Post
Yeah.
services at current time, as well as the service will be available in conjunction with the Good Neighbor package that Kelly Picken, Deputy Clerk, was able to develop through the short-term rental advisory committee.
So you can do them all online.
We're gonna put it all online.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Makes total sense. I just wanted to let you know, because I'm just checking in again, so like the Good Neighbor package comes up with the QR code, but the welcome package just kind of goes to like it goes to the welcome package page, but it doesn't really have. Unless you're supposed to click on something else, like, you know, how, like,
Mayor, it's not currently live.
oh, okay.
We didn't want to transition it virtually until we got approval from, council.
Well, I could check it.
It is currently in a draft mode. I am working on it, and I should be able to have it live by the end of the week. We've also worked with local vendors in regards to a printing option, and then we should be able to get that up and rolling by, I would like to say by the middle of November with approval.
Perfect. Okay.
Nice to have somebody come and ask council opinion.
Yeah, that never happens. Funny.
Just one additional, note to point out, on the card that will go out, it does say to receive a welcome package in an alternative format, contact reception. So anyone who was not comfortable with the technology would have that ability to phone in
good.
and either get a paper copy or have it emailed.
Oh, that's great, Colin.
Yeah, the only item that I might want to see tossed back into the welcome package, as much as I see the reduction, would be the waste passes. I think that's a very handy item for people that get given, and I don't think it's large and heavy. But those punch pads, oh, sorry, you?
Through you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
You are correct. So that waste pass is currently sent through the welcome package, and that will be now transitioned into the financial documentation that will be sent. So instead of having two packages sent through two different departments, it will be streamlined into one package sent by the finance department.
Right.
So deed owners will still have the essential information in regards to their taxation accounts, as well as important documentation. They'll also have this mailer card that will be sent with the QR codes, as well as the waste pass. So they'll get everything that they need in one timely document.
Right.
And we're hoping that will streamline the process.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other thing, and it's not something that I think we should be spending money on, but it's important to post offices that sort of groups like the Township continue to use them. So if it was something that we were considering that we wanted to sort of promote our post office or sort of fund it, this would be one opportunity.
What are you saying? You don't want us to do this? You want us to
So
sit with
it
the
would be,
mailers?
right, and I just haven't organized my thoughts here, but okay, sort of in small towns, it's really important to local newspapers that the townships have to buy advertising in the local newspapers in order to release certain information.
Mhm.
And there might be a similar relationship with our municipality and post office that is an important resource to the community.
Mhm.
That continuing to support the post office would be important, but I don't think that this is a way for us to do that.
Mhm.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we still will be utilizing the postage.
Yeah.
We'll be utilizing our daily regulated mail, as well as the welcome packages, the new financial welcome packages as a combined document will be sent through postage. We'll just be saving the taxpayers a significant amount of money, close to about $1,000 on an annual basis, by reducing it to one package from two packages.
Right. And I would think that, especially when it comes to small communities, that local governments are probably still the biggest customers of Canada Post and will continue to be so, but it's just unfortunate, and it's sort of, the challenge is you need to send this out, and if for some reason the mail is not being delivered, then we're in a bit of a problem. So I 100% agree that Canada Post is certainly important to small rural communities like ours, and I think that we will continue to support them as much as we possibly can, because we have to anyway, right? But this makes total sense, and I think it will be well received. So, Jim,
Move the recommendation.
perfect. Seconder for that, seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? That's approved.
Thank you,
All
Mayor.
right.
Mayor.
I'm gonna
Madam
check that
Mayor,
QR
Council.
code at the end of the week.
Yeah.
I remember.
I'll have it circulated the webpage to all of you.
That's awesome.
I think you should run back to work.
She goes. Zoom. Okay, so we'll stick and we'll finish off this section, which is the other item under administration. And it's the motion as we have during this term of council have started having the quad council meetings, which is meetings with our neighbors. It's with Selwyn, Trent Lakes, and Curve Lake First Nation. This is the third year that we're doing this. Timeline's a little different. Typically we do it in September, but with the elections at Curve Lake, there was a change, and it's Chief Hockaday now. And we've set upon this new date and time, which is next Thursday, October 30th at 1 p.m. and it's being hosted by Kirk Lake First Nation. So we have a recommended motion there that for us to make it official that we attend the special joint council meeting. Colin will make that motion and Ruth Ann will second it. All those in favor? That is approved. Okay, now I'm gonna go right all the way back to the beginning. Almost the beginning of the agenda, because we're flying. We're doing very well. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the reports. We're gonna go, we have our deputation at 10:45, but we have the Peterborough County report. And just a couple of things here, if I can get it pulled up. Just so you know, county has, we'll be having our draft budget meeting, our first one, next, or in 2 weeks, it'll be November 6th, I believe. Proposed draft budget is at 5.5% for the county right now, and that includes a 2.5% dedicated infrastructure levy. Within that, so we just got circulated the binder with all the information yesterday for that. So we'll see how those discussions go, but that's just sort of a heads up on that. Dave Smith was at our last county council meeting to be Oprah and say, you get money and you get money and you get money through the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. This is an allocation that we get every year, and we did see an increase, but the reason we saw an increase is because we're getting the minimum threshold. We didn't, it was 100,000 last year and now they brought it up to 125. So we're getting that base amount that we're eligible. Because some other municipalities went down a little bit because the calculation kind of changed somewhat. So we are getting that, which is wonderful news. And then we also had a presentation from Terry Reese, Ontario Phragmites Action Program, and Tom Unruh from Kawartha Land Trust, just talking about the funding, the grant that we received it back in like June, but we couldn't say anything until the province announced it in September. Meanwhile, we had a student that had come in that we mapped out all of these areas for Phragmites, and they are actually in the process now of applying the controlling whatever spray herbicide stuff. They've gone through that. So anyway, so very well done. Kawartha Land Trust also has undertaken mapping of sort of like the county did the county roads. Kawartha Land Trust is doing all the rest, right? So anyway, there's lots of good work that's happening on that, and hopefully that program will continue and we can get continue to receive funds for that. What else did we have? Council looked at an affordable housing financial incentive program. We're really talking about, wanting to ensure that affordable housing is being built in the county. A lot of times, with the joint services and stuff, it's, the city focus, and a lot of it happens in the city. So we're looking at bringing something forward, for that. So that may have an impact on our budget, depending on where, we go. And we had a strategic alignment report from Sheridan based on our strategic planning session that we had in the summer to really sort of focus and position the county well for the future. And same thing from Rhonda Keenan, our economic development officer at the county, who has brought forward a couple of different plans regarding growth, resilience, opportunity, and the workforce. And then we also had a notice of motion, which we approved, was that I'm sure maybe you've heard about some of the stuff going on within the city when it comes to the demolition of General Electric and the challenges around that, concerns about contamination of the site and where the demolished stuff will go when they do it. So county did pass a motion that we request that the city require the owner to bring detailed information, including but not limited to detailed site demolition plans, including site disposal volumes, intended disposal location, material and site contamination testing, and disposal considerations to city and county councils. And further, that the Ministry of the Environment be copied on any and all plans related to the planned demolition. Joe Taylor, who is the mayor of Otonabee South Monaghan, raised his concerns from his municipality because that's where the landfill is located. And he's gotten lots of questions and comments from his residents about, whether or not it's going into the landfill. What are the plans for that? We all know the life expectancy is very short with our landfill, and this certainly could have a negative impact on that as well. So that is the county update. Jim, I don't know if you had anything else.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of stuff.
Good, go. We got time, do it.
Go ahead.
Anybody, questions, comments on that? Colin?
Thank you for the very detailed report. My only comment is I'm glad and very thankful that the county came by and ripped up that little stretch of Burley Street and fixed that sort of depressed pothole. Sub-base failure that we had going on there, because those are really hard to see, so people driving through our community wouldn't have been able to see it, but that was quite a nasty little hole there.
Yeah, no, they did a good job, so. Excellent. All right, motion to receive the county report then. Moved by Rudan, seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? The county report has been received. Pro Valley, Colin, is that something?
Mine's gonna be a heck of a lot shorter. We're meeting tomorrow morning. So I should have a sort of full report on our
Okay.
general manager hiring and a full authority report for
Okay,
next
Perfect.
meeting, but
Perfect.
nothing since our last discussion.
okay. All right, then, we'll move on to adoption of the minutes of the previous, oh,
Did you want a motion or?
to receive nothing?
Move to
Okay.
receive his report.
Jim and Ruth Ann, a motion to receive that brief Pro Valley update, all in favor, okay. Sorry, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but, all right. Adoption of the minutes of the previous meetings, we have the regular meeting October 7th, and I always ask this, because do you want one motion for both, or do you want two separate motions?
Council may do one.
Okay.
If they wish.
So would somebody like to move the approval of those, or adoption of those minutes from those meetings? Moved by Colin, seconded by Ruth Ann, all those in favor? Those are adopted, and the consent agenda. We have the monthly reports on there, as well as a few pieces of correspondence. Just a couple of things to note, or actually just the one thing I wanted to report, just that the Peterborough County OPP has a survey that's out, and they're looking for feedback on the action plan, so folks are invited to check it out and provide your thoughts and comments. Anything else? I didn't receive any comments from anyone pulling anything, so if not, can I have a motion then to receive the consent agenda? Okay, moved by Colin, seconded by Jim O'Shea, all in favor? That's been received, and now where am I going? I am going back down to reports from boards and committees, and we have nothing. And, okay, so now correspondence for action. We have two items up. First one up is a request from Apsley School from the principal regarding the Mind Up program books. This is an approved curriculum at the board. And school is looking for funds to support and purchase those books so that the teachers can have access to it. And it's for all the grades. I did check with the treasurer to find out the remaining balance in our donation account, and it's just over $1,000, 1,016, I think. And the total for this program, the number for the books is $596.06, because I added it up. But anyway, so that request is there. It does meet our policy with respect to the donation request, so it's here for council's consideration.
Should never have given them that money last week.
What money last week?
We gave them the donation last time.
Did we?
Something or other. $100 for two different awards.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no, we haven't done
We haven't done that at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's for consideration.
Yeah.
And there's maybe consideration about maybe a different award. I don't know, right? We have, there's still more to talk about on that. That would maybe not be.
I thought we approved that.
No, it was just for consideration. That was strategic planning. So, Colin.
Anyway, this particular scenario, I'm in support of this, it isn't a huge sum. But it's just something that I do think we have to be cautious with, that we're not sort of rearranging the way that tax dollars are collected for public services. The only sort of modification I would like to make, because like many people up here, I think Amazon is not my favorite company right now, especially coming from the States. Actually, first off, one of the concerns with Amazon is because they have that flex pricing. If we donate a certain amount of money, it will need to be used for those items that it was collected for. And that price is going to be changing over time on Amazon, because the prices aren't always stable. Sometimes when things sell out, they jump up a bit. Like the one that jumped out at me was the $52 picture book. So I think there's a good opportunity, and this would be a really good ongoing relationship to set up where we can purchase them potentially through the library. Hopefully it's a Canadian supplier that the library is using, purchase them at a lower price and then donate the books themselves.
Oh,
We could ask,
That's a
because certainly I know what's listed on there and it has like, it says like it's listed on the Amazon. Like as the Amazon pricing, but whether or not that is the actual place that we have to purchase them from, I don't know, so. Either way, I don't know, like, I mean, it's something that we could certainly consider. I think opportunities to partner with the library and the school, there's always lots of them. I mean, I'm currently exploring one potentially for the beautification subcommittee that I'm on, so. But yeah, I think it's something that we could look at too, but they also have their own library as well at the school and purchase, you know, and I don't know. If it's specific, do they purchase through there or do they purchase, I don't know, sorry, my phone is making my my watch buzz. But it's something, yeah, we can certainly follow up on, but I think for this one, the specific request is because they really like to get this program implemented as quickly as possible. And we're still sort of at the start of the school year, so that's why this request has come forward. But, and the other thing I wanted to just make a motion or make a comment on too is, with respect to, I get it, at the end of the day, the biggest portion of our tax bill is going to the Ministry of Education. And yet, you know, we know our schools are struggling, teachers are paying things out of pocket, parents, there's a lot of pressure that's going to be put on this community in the next couple of years when it comes to fundraising for sure that playground has to be replaced. I was around back in the day when we raised the funds to build that one, but now the timeline or the life expectancy of that is coming to an end.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. Just the outdoor infrastructure, even the growth of our school. I mean, we fought really hard. Jim, you remember going to that meeting to keep our school, get a new one built. And less than a decade later, they were already over capacity, have 2 portables there, can't have more. We're looking at wanting to build, you know, or expand the residential areas in our community and where are these kids gonna go to school, right? So there's a lot going on. And I agree, and I think it's gonna take a concerted effort for us to really focus, you know, at the upper level of government to ensure that the funds are there to support the growing needs of a community like ours and the school, so. Jim.
I think Colin's idea is very good if we had a whole bunch of time and, you know, somebody to work on it and so on and so forth, but, for this one, I would say let's get all these books purchased, because I really wanna read this Drums, Girls and Dangerous Mind.
Are you gonna enroll? I know, and your point is well taken, and I think there is a good opportunity. The program coordinator at the library, Lisa Mace, does a lot of outreach with the school. And looking to build those bridges and those connections, and I think, and I don't think it's gonna get less, I think it's gonna continue to grow as we go forward, so. So Jim, are you making that a motion?
I can, if there's a seconder for it.
I'll second it. Just
Okay.
A comment though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we can direct where they're buying their stuff from anyway.
Yeah.
But again, with that Amazon surge pricing, it's a $20 book on Indigo that we're giving them $55 for.
Yeah, I'll certainly, we have our meeting next week, so I'll certainly bring that forward.
And then, again, I just have concerns that if there's money left over in that account, that is gonna be a headache for them. Because they.
Yeah. We'll
Content there.
We'll figure it out for sure, so,
But it is a very good point.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, I know, and I think we should, and it's, you know, like we say, we talk about wanting to support local, support Canadian, all this stuff, so I agree. Connie,
I may have missed it, but are we putting a dollar amount in the motion?
do you want to, or do you want to just say that we support the purchase of the books for the Mind Up program curriculum, and then that way, whatever it is.
And like not having the dollar.
Yeah, so if it's less, then that's good. So obviously there is, you know, I mean, if it's gonna be more than, I mean, we're gonna need to come back, I think.
No, to a maximum.
You wanna say to a maximum of what's left in the donation account? Cause that's $1,000. You think it's gonna be?
Maximum of $700.
Okay, so that's what it'll be, Connie.
It might not be more expensive buying from Canadian.
No, it may not
I
at all.
found Indigo isn't.
So,
I mean, books are pretty standardly priced if you're buying at retail.
yeah, exactly. So Connie, do you have a straightforward motion there?
That council support the purchase of the books for the Mind Up program at Apsley Central Public School to a maximum amount of $700.
I
Perfect.
thought it was 500. No.
Well, it was $596.06, but we're just kind of giving leeway in case, depending if we want to buy Canadian, if it's gonna be a little bit more, I don't know. right? Flexibility there. Okay, so that was moved by Jim. Are you still okay with that?
Well, I thought it was 500 and something.
It was $596.06. You want to do that specific because Colin's raising a point about it could be different.
I know, but
It's like putting your credit card in at the gas pump where we're approving up to the $200, but you know you're not gonna pump the $200.
okay.
Hey,
Well, they're talking into it. I move
Okay,
it.
Connie?
I just have the treasurer obviously listening in.
Oh, no.
And she had a question.
Judy,
Do I
you.
pay according to receipts submitted by the school? So,
Then yeah, that may be how you'll have to do it, Judy. So I will speak, you know what, after this meeting today, I can go and talk to the principal and have maybe better information for you as to whether we can alter where they're planning to purchase it and what the cost may be and what works best for them. So stay tuned, Judy.
so that motion then.
It's still the
Does he
same.
Okay, do a maximum.
I think we should just send the school 500 and sum it up. Let them spend it. If they spend more, they spend more.
But if we're,
It's up to
but,
them.
well,
No, you know, that's what they asked for, isn't it? 509.
that's what the total amount is when they listed the pricing. What Colin is saying is that they're basing that off of Amazon, and if they're going, if they can purchase it someplace else,
Well, they
they
Or
may.
just go to Amazon, buy the whole work.
Does that include tax?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that means tax,
Jim says no.
but
They're not gonna take the time to go elsewhere to see if they can get a cheaper price.
I don't think so.
They're already busy. I can tell you right now, my daughter does this
Yeah.
kind of thing. She pays for it, for her classroom.
Yeah.
This school is extremely lucky to get the local municipality to help them out.
Mhm.
But they don't have the time to go researching for $1 less on a book, et cetera. It's just not gonna happen. Establish what you're gonna pay for. And that's it.
why don't we just say $600? We'll give them $4 leeway.
Lower it by $100 at least and send them a check.
Okay.
It'll be more bother than it's worth to have her sending you money for a
Either way,
little
the,
invoice.
the issues that we discussed will be raised. I will raise it with them, so we'll see, and maybe going forward, this may, affect a change going long term, right? In terms of, and it may actually help, and when it comes to the fundraising efforts, if folks know that there is a focus happening to be, supporting local or supporting Canadian and looking for the best bargain for our bucks, right? Okay, so Connie, the motion stands, but it's 600 rather than 700.
That's correct, and the deputy mayor mentioned issue them a check, so.
And
Do you want it
to be
to
paid to
include
the
issue
school.
check?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay with the seconder?
Issue.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna hand them a
I'm
check.
sorry, $600 issued by check.
Yeah.
To be paid to the school.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
okay, you did, but you can do it again. So we're really sure, and Colin's, we're gonna second it again, because we're really sure. All those in favor? That is approved. Okay, last item, of correspondence is, Township of Selwyn, it's a Lakeshore capacity study. I thought we were circulating on this, but I know there was some information going back and forth from the Lovesick Lake group that, there was no responses or whatever, so they asked Selwyn to send it out again. So now here it is. And just for folks' information, we have one property that abuts onto Lovesick Lake. It's right next to the locks there in Burley Falls. There was a house there that was torn down. I believe that the Trent Severn now does own that property. I don't know. I don't know where Fourth and Anishinaabe is, all of that either. But that's it. Jim?
Yeah, I'm with you, one property and they want us to join in, so we end up paying for a third of it or whatever the case might be. And, I just don't see it with one property and a lake capacity study, if the people who wanna put in the trailer park have, if they need a lake capacity study, they can do it, but we did our own lake capacity study. Shandos did their own lake capacity study. I think it's a slippery slope and I won't vote for it.
Stony Lake, I was on the Stony Lake Plan Committee, with Stony Clear and White, they did their own.
Lake capacity plans are primarily for trout lakes.
Mhm.
This isn't a trout lake, it's a warm water lake.
Yeah.
I can't see how it will actually apply. They can do a study of what fish they have. But that won't take them anywhere.
The challenge also is that it's a flow-through lake
I
on the
was just gonna
system,
say that, yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was proven, I think, when they were doing this thing, that it empties itself twice a year.
It's hard
You know,
to,
there's so much water goes over that dam.
Yeah,
That, it just,
I can't see the point of doing a lake capacity study for that particular lake.
okay. All right, so the motion is that we're not gonna participate in, or Connie, do you have something there for us?
Yeah, I was just reading, they're saying is there interest, so that North Corridor Council is not interested in participating in the request from the Township of Selwyn for development of the terms of reference for a Lakeshore capacity assessment for Lovesick Lake.
Okay, all right, who wants to make that motion? Ruthan's gonna make it,
also,
second it, all those in favor? That is approved, okay, I'm gonna call a break. Why not? Because I need to have a break anyway, break it up, and we have, Hampson's coming at 10:45, I don't know if they are able to come sooner, or no, we'll just go, we'll just take 15 minutes, check your emails. Do some stretches or something, but we'll be back in, at 10:45, everyone, thanks.